Hello, traders and investors. It's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back in the Pursuit of Wealth for a daily market recap and an MJ Sector review. Today's a review for Tuesday, June 1st. It's a new month. Hope everyone is having a great day today. Just as a heads up, I'm going to do the video, the broader market and the MJ video all in one. I had some technical difficulties today, and I had to pick my dog up at the vet. So a little bit late today and going to do this in one video, and we'll keep it a little shorter today. And as the topic of the day today, we're going to be discussing Canopy Growth's earnings. So they missed on both EPS and the revenue, which we'll look at in just a second. I'm going to put some timestamps in the description below. But as we normally do, we'll run through some news and events on the day, and then we'll look at the broader market, and then we'll dive into the MJ space. So before we jump in, make sure to smash the like and subscribe to the channel. So the TSX tops 20,000 for the first time, up 76% from March 2020 low. Also, housing boom helps prop up 5.6% annualized growth in Canada. And MJ producer Canopy Growth posts a $1.7 billion annual loss. So I will go through this in detail because this was a great article here by MJ Biz. So the Canadian MJ producer Canopy Growth reported a net loss of 617 million Canadian dollars, 513 million US for its fourth quarter, alongside an annual net loss of nearly 1.7 billion for its 2021 fiscal year, despite growing revenue. And the annual net loss exceeded its fiscal 2020 net loss of 283 million. And we've been saying on this channel for a while now that the only real LP we're bullish on in terms of the major LPs has been Hexo, and it's starting to show in these numbers that other LPs are trending down while Hexo has been growing quarter over quarter and year over year. And most of that has been organic growth. And they even mention Hexo here a little bit later on. But the Smith Falls, Ontario-based company said it's on track to achieve positive EBITDA in the second half of fiscal year 2022, which ends March 31st, 2022. So at some point in at the beginning or the mid part of 2022. So adjusted earnings before interest, tax, appreciation, and amortization, so EBITDA, a non-standard measure of profitability, was negative 94 million for the quarter and negative 340 million for the year. So on the conference call, CEO David Klein said, in light of significant recent acquisitions by Canadian competitors, the company is very happy with their portfolio in Canada and the ability of that portfolio to travel to the U.S. One of the M&A deals, Hexo's planned 925 million Canadian acquisition of ReadyCan, one of the leading adult use producers in the country by market share. In April, Canopy announced a deal to acquire premium cannabis MJ producer Supreme, as well as a deal to acquire the MJ brand Ace Valley. So lots of M&A deals going on, and if you're looking where to focus next with our balance sheet with an eye toward mergers and acquisitions, it's going to be the U.S. So they are honed in on the U.S. market, just like most people. Again, if it was just one company, honed in on the U.S. and making big moves to enter the U.S. market, I'd be a little skeptical of these laws. But the fact that all these companies are making, a huge push leads me to believe that we're going to see a lot. And he agrees with me here. I've been saying on this channel for a while that it could happen a lot sooner than many may think. And he goes on to allude to that here in just a second. But Canopy reported cash and short-term investments of $2.3 billion as of March 31st. And Klein says, really bullish regarding the potential speed of federal legalization efforts in the United States. I believe we're in a position now where you have Republicans and Democrats who are each trying to craft their own MJ legalization bills. What they're not questioning is, should it be legalized? They're simply questioning the how. So again, I've been saying that for months on this channel, that I think so many people were saying, not to get political, that Biden would never gain the office, but the charts were telling us otherwise. And I could have cared less who won. I was just looking at the charts, and he was obviously better for the MJ space, and the MJ charts were telling us that they were super strong. And now it's still telling us the same thing, and I'm still believing that we could see this happen. And again, the United States is not going to let Canada, its NAFTA partners, Canada and Mexico and the rest of the world, there's no way they're going to want to be late to the party with that massive market expected to be 125 billion in 2025. We also know that we're hurting from jobs because of the economic crisis. So what better time to legalize, and what better reason to speed that up, right? So I personally believe it'll move a lot faster than many people may think. And because you get that many people aligned on the what, sometimes the how gets negotiated. Net revenue of Canopy's quarter ended March 31st with 148 million, down about 2.6 from the previous quarter. So they did miss on both of those, EPS and the revenue. So we came in at negative 1.85 and revenue of 148, so down slightly from last quarter, and missed its forecast. And the EPS this time last year was negative 3.72, so negative 1.85 is a big improvement, but we were expecting negative 0.25, so that was still a huge miss on that front. So you can check out the rest of this article, but I found it extremely interesting that he said the same thing that I've been saying for a long time now, which is he believes that a lot of people think it's going to take a long time, but he thinks that the speed is going to really shock a lot of people. So here's another article from New MJ Ventures. Try not to say that word. So you can check out that as well for some in-depth financials. And again, missed on both EPS and revenues, and that's something that we've seen in the Statistics Canada numbers. We've seen from other LPs, so it wasn't surprising. What's going to be really interesting to see whether or not Hexo gained a lot of that market share, as we know they probably did, and even mentioned Hexo in that article, and no other major LP, and right at the top of that article. So Hexo now leading in terms of adult use sales, and it's going to be really interesting to see where we go from here. Moving on to the crypto space. So we are back in a 15-minute uptrend, which signifies that the 4-hour bounce is underway, and 4-hour higher low is now set here at 35,723. We are maintaining the 4-hour uptrend, which is the most important thing on Bitcoin at the moment, but we'll want to see a daily trend change and a close above EMA 12. That's going to be extremely important, as we have yet to close above it since this massive pullback to 30,000. And the level 2 break is 40,855. If we break that, we confirm a daily uptrend, and bulls will be back into full control. So moving on to SPY, you can see here that we mentioned to private members this morning as well. I said the first thing I'm going to be doing this morning is looking to sell this gap up. So gap ups are generally rule of thumb for selling, and we had all-time high resistance at 422.82. We got as high as 422.72, and we knew that we had a lack of resistance until 405. And the first thing that happened this morning, it was all bears right at the open. So we dropped nearly 1% after that double top essentially came within about 10 pennies. So dropped almost 1% there in the first hour of trading. And again, we knew to be looking out for daily consolidation at some point, but I know a lot of people probably got caught off guard today, but that's exactly when we need to start being cautious, and straight into an all-time high test, double top into daily consolidation is a bit of a red flag. Closing near the low of the day, wouldn't be surprised if we do see further weakness in consolidation and pull back tomorrow. But if we do pull back to, say, around the 416 area, it's still a potential daily bull flag. And if we confirm, then, and this ends up being a daily bull flag, then we could be heading to a target of 440 on the S&P 500. But just expecting a higher low here compared to 405. We are still in a daily uptrend, so we'll look for a higher low here compared to 405 as bulls regain their composure and attempt to break to a new all-time high. But congrats to the bears at the open this morning, and I trimmed my positions and was able to reload a lot cheaper. So the dollar is still extremely weak and cannot close a candle over EMA 12. And we'll just take a look at some of our other sectors. So QQQ daily consolidation today as well, which we mentioned we had a lack of support all the way down to 316. So again, we'll watch for a potential daily bull flag on the tech sector, and we'll watch for rotation and whether or not all sectors are weak and at the low of the day tomorrow. If so, we could see some prolonged consolidation on the S&P 500. U.S. oil, daily inside bar, but broke out to a higher high and is extremely strong, but we have a lack of support down to 61.58. So the metals, silver, looks like it's about to start daily consolidation. We had a bit of a bearish reversal candle yesterday, closing near the low, but we are holding EMA 12 still, and we're still in a daily uptrend, which is the most important part. So gold, daily inside bar, still holding the daily uptrend, and still holding EMA 12 as well. Biotech sector was down over 1% today, closing near the low, so daily consolidation a bit weaker than most of our sectors. XLE had a great day, though, not surprising with the strength in oil. And we have resistance coming up at 54.85. XLF, the energy sector, the financial sector, looks like we have a new all-time high on the financials. We absolutely do. So we're seeing, again, that rotation where we're seeing the financials and the energy sector pick up the slack. The healthcare sector was extremely bearish today. We had support at 121.59. We got as low as 121.47. So we did lose support. Next support is 121.03. And big bear volume as well, closing near the low of the day. Looks like we could see more weakness there tomorrow as well. So taking a look at the bull and bear list, AMC, we had an absolute monster day today as well. And we're sitting at 39 after hours. So let's see if we get to $50 tomorrow. Let me know in the comments below. If you've got an AMC position, it's been a wild ride. Do you think $50 is in the cards tomorrow? BlackBerry up nearly 15%, closing at the high of the day. And this is a name that I'm still swinging. And again, we're going to expect daily consolidation here at some point. But as long as we maintain the hourly uptrend, bulls are in full control. GME and NEO. On the bear list, we had MVMD, VEGA, SPCE, and BYND. So moving on to the MJ space. So Canopy, daily consolidation underway, which we didn't have any support all the way down to 22.36. So that was not surprising based on missing both EPS and revenues and posting a huge loss for the year and not expecting EBITDA positive for the first half of 2022. So, it's going to be a while before I think that this stock really starts to regain some investor, just confidence, because I've lost all confidence in Canopy personally. Let me know in the comments below if you're still buying a lot of their products. I can't remember the last time I bought a product from Canopy, maybe in January, but not a big fan of their flour. I know they're number one in terms of flour, not a big fan of their edibles. Their drinks are just fair. I might like one or two, but would I rebuy them again and again? Definitely not. So at this point, it's still a weekly bear flag, and we are topping out at EMA 26 and 12. But on the daily time frame, we have support at 22.36. We are in a daily uptrend though, so as long as we maintain the daily uptrend, that's the most important factor. We did have resistance at 28.38, and new resistance is 26.55. So 26.55, 28.38. Supports are 22.36 and 21.72. After that, we've got 20 psychological. But we are holding the EMA here on the pullback. So we'll continue to see, again, likely going to dictate whether or not, if SPY sees further weakness tomorrow, we could potentially see a lot more downside on CGC. But personally, I don't own any CGC at the moment. I sold it all in that last run, and I have no interest in buying it back anytime soon. Taking a look at the weekly chart, we are struggling with the 10-week moving average, so there's been a lot of heads up lately. We couldn't get over the 10-week moving average. We also had the 200 weekly moving average at 26.70, which we were struggling at as well. And we also couldn't get over the 200-day moving average, which is sitting at 26.21. So lots of red flags. We had a ton of resistance there. And if you didn't sell your position before earnings, maybe you're holding long term, and that's fine. But if you were in a swing trade or a day trade and you're playing earnings, very, very risky in my opinion, especially since we saw so many numbers from Stats Canada decline. We saw other LPs decline for the quarter on their recent earnings, and we had a ton of resistance there on CGC on a lot of our macro indicators. So not surprising at all. And we've been saying in our group for many, many weeks now that we expected CGC to likely miss again. And didn't expect much to change in terms of their financials. So looking at the bull and bear list, we had NSP, TGOD, and Cron on the bear list. On the bull list, we had PCLO, LOVE, and ZENA, Zena. Zenibus. So Love, another name that I did a video on this, Canara Biotech. Check that out if you haven't already. But essentially, this is a name that we're extremely bullish on as well. It's a Quebec producer. It produces high quality Quad A indoor premium MJ. So I encourage you to check this one out. We're extremely bullish on Love in our group as well. SNDL had a great day today as well, but again, we knew to be watching out for resistance. We had monthly EMA 12 at 109, and we got as high as 108 today. And again, on the daily time frame, we knew that we were likely going to start pulling back at some point. We had that EMA 12 and 26 bull cross, and then we topped out at monthly EMA 12, and wouldn't be surprised if we started daily consolidation tomorrow as we have a lack of support until 71 cents. So again, if SPY is weak tomorrow, that's going to increase the odds that we see consolidation in the MJ space as well. Taking a look at the bull and bear list in the US, so we had BioHarvest, Acreage, Bev, and BAM on the decline. On the bull list, we had TAT, PLTH, so Planet 13, and TAUG. So just taking a look at MSOS. So again, we knew daily consolidation was coming at some point. We had run 7 days in a row with a higher low every candle. And here, once we lost the low of Friday at 41.85, that indicated daily consolidation. closing near the low of the day, but it did hold the EMA 26. So we'll see. It's at this point, it's a potential daily bull flag. And we've got a lack of resistance here until 43.30, 44.14. And let's see if bulls can put a stop to this bleeding tomorrow. Again, if SPY's weak, we're going to continue to monitor that correlation. So going to end the video there. Thanks again for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth for a daily market recap and an MJ sector review. And we will see you tomorrow after market close.